Here's your General Hospital recap on what happened in Port Charles today, Friday, August 15th, 2025. Note: about 25 minutes in, General Hospital was interrupted for approximately 20 minutes for a national news update, and again, during the last few minutes. The full episode should be available by 8 p.m. EST on Hulu. Stella and Tracy were going to catch up over iced tea at the Metro Court restaurant. Michael came in with Wiley to celebrate. Wiley did really well with the breaststroke at his swim lesson, so Michael said he could have a hot fudge sundae. Since Drew was at another table, Tracy tried to give Michael an out to leave, saying she thought the restaurant was out of hot fudge and caramel. Michael thanked her for the effort, but figured they couldn't avoid Drew forever, so he told Wiley that Tracy was just kidding. Tracy and Stella sat and talked about their mutual disgust of Drew. Stella questioned why she continued to bankroll Measure C if she despised Drew. Tracy said she loathed Drew and Ezra Boyle, but was only temporarily working with them because she wanted to get rid of Sonny. Michael and Wiley sat at another table. Wiley started talking about Tracy while eating his sundae. He thought Tracy was sad because she missed Gio. Michael asked Wiley if he would be okay sitting and finishing his sundae while he went to talk with Tracy for a minute. Martin and Drew were meeting at a table toward the back of the restaurant. Martin said his back went into spasms just being in the same room as Tracy Quartermaine. Drew ranted about Michael and the Quartermaines being hypocrites. When Martin reminded him that Willow did not want his help, Drew, convinced that Willow didn't know how badly she needed his help, vowed to show how much she really did need it. He eyed Wiley sitting by himself. Apparently, while Michael was chatting with Tracy, Drew went over to talk with Wiley. He told Wiley that his mother was missing him and, according to what Stella said later, tried to turn Wiley against his father. Michael must have sent Wiley out of the dining room so he could talk with Drew. As Drew smugly confronted Michael, Martin tried to stop him from going any further. Undeterred, Drew asked Michael, "When are you going to stop lying to your son about his mother?" His intention to bait Michael worked because Michael quickly lost his temper and punched him, which, of course, made Drew happy. At the hospital, Isaiah asked Felicia for advice. Without using names, he briefly described Portia and Curtis's situation and asked if he owed it to the hopeful spouse to say something about the other spouse spending time with his ex. Felicia strongly advised him to stay out of it. Later, Felicia met with Stella for their patient review meeting. Stella told her she was still disturbed by Drew's behavior at the Metro Court. When Jordan came off the elevator, Stella went over to talk with her to let her know Marshall was going to be back in town next week and invited her to the family dinner she was planning. Before Jordan could answer, 2 agents approached. As a result of Drew's prior demand to investigate Stella, it would seem the 2 agents were there to arrest Stella for insurance fraud/tampering. Portia was shopping with Trina for a dress to wear to her chef's tasting with Curtis. She was nervous, but Trina helped calm and reassure her. As she continued to try on multiple dresses, they talked honestly about some of the troubles Portia and Curtis had. Portia was hopeful the night was going to be a fresh start. Curtis was at Jordan's apartment to ostensibly help her inspect it before her offer went through. Jordan was excited and already in love with the apartment, and Curtis felt like she had made a great choice. Later, Portia was soaking in the moment at the chef's tasting. She had been fearful they wouldn't get to a better place and wanted to let Curtis know how much the night meant to her. She felt it was the first step to them finding their way back to each other. He agreed, said they should do it right this time, and kissed her. The scene faded to them after dinner, making love in the bedroom. Sonny and Donna got home from her swim lesson. As they were talking about making pizza for dinner, Ada Turner knocked at the door. After meeting Turner, Donna told her she should stay for dinner. Turner tried to say no, but they pretty easily talked her into it. Later, Turner, who has been growing ever closer to Sonny, apologized for coming down too hard on him. She said her job was to prosecute people who were accused of committing a crime in a courtroom. She wanted to win those cases based on the facts and evidence she gathered, not because she successfully vilified the person she was prosecuting to the public. Sonny said she was just doing her job. In the end, he said he didn't think she would be receiving any more anonymous gifts in the future because whoever sent them didn't want her to be put in an awkward position again. At the Five Poppies Resort, Vaughn let Joss know she was scrubbed from the mission. Not happy with the decision, Jocelyn argued that she should stay and believed she could easily avoid running into Britt. Not agreeing with her, Vaughn felt she couldn't avoid running into Britt and would only become a liability. In the patio area, Pascal interrupted before Britt could get Christopher Nash's room number from a hotel employee. Britt was tired of being controlled, but Pascal reminded her that nothing could get in the way of her work, and she needed to stay focused. Meanwhile, Jason landed and was on his way to the resort. Later, Vaughn sat on the bed, lost in thought and fiddling with his fake wedding ring. A man posing as hotel staff approached the door with champagne and stopped to put a silencer on his gun. He entered as he knocked and said it was room service. Vaughn acted quickly and was able to attack the guy before he could point his gun at him. The two were in a struggle when the scene ended. Final note: a General Hospital legend has been lost today. Tristan Rogers, who had been diagnosed with cancer, passed away. Soap Central would like to extend its sincere condolences and wishes for peace and healing to his family and loved ones. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here is the General Hospital weekly recap for episodes that aired August 11th through August 15th, 2025. Drew messes with Wiley's head, while Aunt Stella is under investigation, and Joss and Va fight off an assassin. This week on General Hospital, Cody told Tracy he had a date with Ava, and she warned him that he could get shot, run over, or blown up by her. She asked him to learn how to respect himself. Jack revealed to Carly that the WSB set up a station in Port Charles because they were following a threat that could jeopardize the entire world. Alexis told Molly that Drew was planning on moving to DC with Scout. The two tried to figure out how to stop him. Laura tried to broker a peace between Liesl and Dante, and Lulu, and although it got tense, cooler heads prevailed. Anna told Jason that Britt might be caught up in the threat the WSB was investigating, especially since Faison had a keen interest in weapons and technology that could destabilize nations. Liesl told Nina about her deal with Rocco's parents. Jason took off for Dalmatia. Pascal told Britt their mysterious boss would withhold her medication until she produced results in their lab. Vaughn encountered Britt and learned she was a resident at the resort. Rocco convinced Lulu to adopt Outback. Alexis picked Marco's brain about the Drew custody situation. Scout made Danny take her to the Quartermains because she missed her family. When Drew found out, he blamed Danny for kidnapping her and tried to have him arrested. Chase explained that there wasn't anything to hold Danny on. Lucas verbally thrashed Willow for giving Drew the time of day when he showed up at General Hospital. Carly told Marco not to hurt Lucas. Jocelyn was stunned to see that Britt was alive. Drew told Alexis that he didn't care what Sam would have thought. He's still going to separate Scout from her family. Willow slapped Lucas across the face. Maxie told Brooklyn that if Deception went under, BLQ would be okay, but Maxie would fall on hard times. Rocco told Gio he was happy that BLQ left the information about his birth out for him to find. It was revealed that Colette was a double agent when she called Pascal and blew Joss and Vaughn's cover. Joss told Vaughn that she knows Britt and that she's supposed to be dead. Anna worried that Jordan was being seduced by the money she was making from Sidwell. Aunt Stella tried to convince Trina to forgive Kai. Drew told Kai to be his eyes and ears in Port Charles when he and Scout moved to DC. Laura was frustrated that she couldn't tell people that Sunny is good for the city. Dante convinced Brooklyn to team up to break down Gio's walls. Chase and Willow started to reconnect. Drew told Molly that when he and Scout move, she won't have any more contact with her, Alexis, and Christina. Jason arrived in Croatia. Turner visited Sunny, and Donna invited her in for pizza. Isaiah asked Felicia for her advice on dealing with a couple that he knew about, and she advised him to stay out of it. A very perceptive Wiley told Michael that he thought Tracy was missing Gio. With an evil glimmer in his eye, Drew told Martin that he was going to show Willow how badly she needed his help. Vaughn ordered Joss to leave because her knowing Britt could compromise their mission. Drew told Wiley that Willow missed him and Michael should let them see each other. Drew got the desired effect he wanted. Michael slugged him right in the face. Turner told Sonny she didn't want to be the kind of prosecutor who vilified people, and she didn't want to be that kind of person either. After seeing what Drew did, Tracy told him she was withdrawing her support for Measure C and informed him that she would report his actions to Monica, swearing to break him if it were the last thing she did. One of the resort employees turned out to be an assassin. Before he could do anything, Vaughn jumped him and they fought. Curtis and Portia made up and slept together. Agents from the New York State Department of Financial Services Fraud Division showed up at General Hospital and wanted to ask Aunt Stella some questions. As Jason was talking to Pascal, Britt was walking by, and they locked eyes. Jocelyn walked into her room, saw the assassin trying to strangle Vaughn, grabbed his gun, and squeezed off a shot. Is Drew Cain all right? General Hospital's resident creepy congressman threatened Jen Sidwell last week, and we thought he was in trouble then. But he wasn't done. This week, he told Natasha Cassadine that her dead daughter was irrelevant. You know, the former Windermere resident, whom Sidwell handed a deadly dagger not too many months ago. Watch out, Drew, 'cause you don't have a clue what you did. Scout's fate in the aftermath of her mother's death and her father's transformation into the most vile character soaps have produced in years is the story that GH has needed to tell for months, and we are finally there. It was one thing last week when Drew happily announced his plans to move Scout to DC and away from her mother's family. Alexis tried to remain cool and collected and deal with the situation reasonably. Then, Drew opened his mouth. When he told Alexis that Sam's wants didn't count because she wasn't around, we could see the daggers in Alexis's eyes as the inner Natasha was activated and ready for battle. Drew truly has no idea what he's unleashed, because he never really took the chance to know his former mother-in-law very well, did he? Maybe Drew should learn some things about Natasha Cassadine. She will kill you if she has to. She'll use a dagger, her car, or throw you right off the parapet and not even blink. When her girls are threatened, and especially when someone disregards and discards her dead firstborn, all bets are off. We have been waiting for the Who Shot Drew story all darn year. Now that Natasha would be at the top of the suspect list, it's time to get this show on the road. We can ask that question every week and may still never get an answer. There is no bottom for the character, something said about other well-known sex scandal-riddled DC politicians. In fact, he outdid himself this week. Not only did Drew tell Alexis that her dead daughter didn't matter anymore because she was dead, but he also tried to have a teen arrested who he once thought was his son, got an old lady arrested for the heck of it, and emotionally abused a child. What does he have in store next week, and why is he still alive? When a character gets to this point, he is supposed to be the subject of a murder mystery. We don't even know why Drew is now the ultimate Port Charles villain when he was once a fine and upstanding man who would do anything for his family and loved ones. We have no idea who this awful, horrible, deplorable man is, but at this point, he can't be Drew Cain, right? And if he is, please get Felicia to whack him over the head with a tire iron, or have Alexis round the corner with her car and her dagger and get the job done. Where's a sad emoji when you need one? While we are grateful that GH let Scout out of the closet after Willow forgot she lived under her roof a few weeks ago, our heart breaks for this little girl. Cosette Abinante is tugging at our heartstrings as a little girl who misses her brothers and is pretty sick of her father's weird life, although she doesn't come right out and say it. And now Scout is going to be one of Drew's victims as he isolates her from her family, lies to her, disregards her mother's wishes, misses her milestone moments, and doesn't seem to care that she spends most of her time alone in her room. We know Sam would take Alexis's dagger herself if she knew what this man was doing to her precious baby girl. Remember when Sam's life was on the line after giving birth to Scout and Drew? He sat with his newborn daughter while cradling her in his arms and telling her how amazing her mommy was. What happened to that man? Did he really die in a plane crash over Afghanistan? Or is this who he has always been? If so, just wow. Those Jason memories worked wonders back then, didn't they? Now that GH pretends Drew has his own memories, perhaps he has just reverted to form. When Franco had Drew's memories, we saw that Drew was a pretty sleazy guy, and now Scout, and the rest of us, have to suffer for it. Does Willow even know? 'Cause she is surprising even herself lately? 'Cause that girl looks confused every other minute. When she whacked Lucas clear across the face, all she could do was look at her hand and run. If Drew isn't Drew, maybe this isn't Willow. Or, like Drew, maybe this is who she has always been, which would explain the bizarre attraction. Of course, Willow didn't even feel remorse for what she did to Lucas. She only felt remorse cause she worried slapping a coworker could cost her her job and her kids. All she thought about was how it would look to a judge, not how she had done something terribly wrong to another person. But that's our Willow. Or should we say Nello? This week, Jocelyn Jacks got to play newlywed despite still looking like she needs a date for the prom. Why anyone would ever believe this child is a married woman is beyond us. Why anyone would ever think this child would make a good WSB agent is also beyond us. We don't care if she was quick with her gun as the week ended. Nothing, and we mean nothing, about Avenger Barbie's super spy career is believable. Then we have Britt and her handler, Pascal. We have no idea what Britt is up to, but we guess we want to find out because she really should be dead at this point, or at least incapacitated. Yet, she looks fantastic. She has the resort looking perfect. And when she saw Jason, okay, our hearts went a little pitter-patter. We begrudgingly admit it, so let's see what happens. So, we spent how many months with Brooklyn lamenting that she wishes she had a chance to meet and get to know her son, only for her to completely ignore him now that she knows that her son is Gio. Yes, we get it. Tracy told you to give him time. Almost 3 months ago. That seems like enough time to us. BLQ. Yet, when Gio spotted her at the pool and actually approached her, she said 5 polite words and walked away before Gio could even respond. Even Gio looked at her like she had 3 heads as Brooklyn picked up the pace and sat down with Maxie. Maybe she should start paying a little more attention to her lonely husband because Willow doesn't care if she is married or someone else is married. If Chase becomes her hero, you'd better watch out, Brooklyn. Why does Outback have to go live with whiny Lulu? We liked him as Gio and Emma's dog, driving poor Anna nuts. He even had a rapport with Liesel, who fell in love with the pooch. How fun would it have been if Outback became Liesel's sidekick? Dr. O and a dog could have been the perfect pair. But apparently, we can't have nice things. Sunny and Hannah. We mean Reese. We mean Margot. Wait, Justine! Yeah, no. This is as no as it was when we said this last week. This potential pairing is all kinds of icky. Just stop. At this point, Carly and Jack are icky too. This man recruited his girlfriend's dopey daughter into the WSB and is certainly not about to tell her. Watching Carly giggle and fawn over a man keeping such a whopper of a secret from her is just not cool. Maybe it was fun for a while, but this has been going on since February, and we cannot wait to be there when Carly learns the truth. Jack, you should just take a private jet out of town now. General Hospital recap for Friday, August 15th reveals that Drew Kane crossed the line with Wiley Corinthos and earned Michael Corinthos' punch. Jocelyn Jacks also pulled the trigger as some mayhem broke out, so here's how things went down in Friday's fantastic episode. At Jordan Ashford's new place, Curtis Ashford offered his approval and had champagne with her when she got the news it was officially hers. Jordan and Curtis shared a rather charged moment, so Curtis took off in a hurry. Meanwhile, Portia Robinson tried on dresses for her special night with Curtis and talked to Trina Robinson about wanting things to be perfect for their fresh start. Once Portia met up with Curtis for the TV chef's private tasting, they connected over dinner and wound up in the bedroom afterward. At GH, Isaiah Gannon asked for Felicia Scorpio's advice on whether he was obligated to spill if he saw someone with an ex when they were working on their marriage. Felicia ultimately pushed Isaiah to stay out of it, but he felt there was another way to act and called Jordan later. At Sunny Corinthos' house, Donna Corinthos asked her dad if they could have pizza for dinner. When AD Justine Turner showed up, Donna met her and wanted her to stay for dinner. Sunny helped talk Justine into sticking around, so she spoke to him privately after the meal wrapped up. Justine was sorry for how she treated Sunny before, so he hinted about her not receiving any more anonymous gifts that would make things awkward for her. At the Metro Court, Tracy Quartermain met up with Stella Henry, so they both spied Drew across the room with Martin Gray. When Michael walked in with Wiley, Tracy tried to claim they were out of hot fudge and caramel. It was Tracy's way of trying to help Michael avoid sticking around for the sundae he promised Wiley. However, Michael acted like Tracy was joking and insisted on staying with Wiley despite Drew's presence in the restaurant. Martin reminded Drew that Willow Tate didn't want his help, but Drew hinted about showing her how much she needed it. Michael eventually left Wiley alone at the table for a moment, which gave Drew a chance to approach the kid and play up how much Willow missed him. When Michael came back with Tracy, Wiley was upset over Drew's revelation and pushed Michael to let him see Willow. Tracy got fed up with Drew and decided she was pulling her support for Measure C. After Tracy led Wiley out, Drew provoked Michael with more Willow talk and wondered when he'd stop lying to Wiley about his mother. Michael finally decked Drew, and based on Drew's smug expression, it was exactly what he wanted. As Michael gave Tracy updates on what happened, he revealed the punch and seemed to regret letting Drew manipulate him. Drew headed to Sonny's place, where A.J. Turner ducked out of sight and eavesdropped. While Justine was hiding, Drew prepared to use the threat of Michael's assault arrest to get what he wanted from Sonny. Stella made her way to the hospital, where she griped to Felicia about Drew trying to turn Wiley against Michael. Once Jordan showed up, Stella invited her to dinner next week since Marshall Ashford would be in town. Suddenly, a couple of financial services and fraud division agents arrived ready to ask Stella questions, so they caught her off guard. At the Five Poppies Resort, Jocelyn looked at a map of the grounds thanks to a tablet she'd stolen from a housekeeping cart. Vaughn said he could take it from here since Jocelyn had been scrubbed from the mission. Jocelyn argued that she could avoid Britt Westbourne, but Vaughn insisted she was a liability and suggested they could stage a fight to end their fake honeymoon early. After Jocelyn stomped off, a resort employee concealed a gun on a drink cart and got Vaughn to open up. Once the employee was inside and Vaughn realized what was really happening, a struggle ensued. Jocelyn came back to find the employee in the midst of his attack on Vaughn, so she drew a weapon, aimed it, and fired. While Britt bickered with Pascal again, Jason took a car to the Five Poppies and began the check-in process. Britt appeared in the distance and exchanged a stare with him in a powerful moment. General Hospital spoilers say more chaos is about to erupt at the Five Poppies Resort. To stay tuned. General Hospital spoilers reveal that we have to ask, is Peter August back and bossing Britt Westbourne around? Could Britt's half-brother be running the show? Soaps are known for undoing grim fates in wacky ways, so we could certainly imagine GH explaining Peter's demise along with Britt's. This feels like a storyline that's going to get a lot wilder as it goes on. Although plenty of fans previously suspected Cesar Faison might be the mystery boss instead, things have started to shift since then. The boss seems a bit colder now that Britt's pushing back too much. Since Britt's medication doses could be withheld if she doesn't get her lab work done, she's facing some pretty cruel warnings. It seems a little extreme for Daddy Faison to threaten to stop giving Britt what we can assume is her miraculous Huntington's disease treatment. However, we could certainly buy Peter's willingness to withhold those doses. Peter may like the idea of some sibling bonding on this project, but he may also have his limits. Of course, we should also consider some other hints that might point in the direction of Peter August Etchie's comeback. One of them came in Saad interview with GH co-head writers Elizabeth Korda and Chris Van Etten. The work in question is potentially both very valuable and very dangerous. It's the kind of project you'd have to be both crazy and diabolical to undertake. That's the sort of person Britt and Dalton are working for, the writing duo insisted. Peter would most definitely fit as someone who's crazy and diabolical, so that's something to keep in mind. Van Etten and Korta hinted that the Faison-Obrecht clan is just getting started, so that could be another clue too. Peter is Faison and Alex Merrick's son, so he'd be part of that clan through his father. Maxie Jones' upcoming crisis could tie in with Peter's possible storyline as well. Kirsten Storms has hinted at something that fans are going to freak out over when it comes to her character's temporary exit. Jen Sidwell seemingly plans to kidnap Maxie to prevent her from handing over Deception's Sonny Corinthos proof to the cops. If Sidwell works for Peter, that could make things interesting. Peter was obsessed with Maxie and would surely love to keep her in his own personal cage somewhere. Bottom line, there are reasons to think Peter may not be as dead as viewers thought. Fans will be eager to get more Mystery Boss updates, so stick with us for more news on the man's identity. General Hospital spoilers say Jason Morgan will try to get some answers now that he's arrived at the Five Poppies Resort, so stay tuned. General Hospital spoilers hint that Stella Henry may collapse with a stroke crisis. Will the insurance fraud investigation that Drew Cain set in motion have horrible consequences? During the week of August 18, 2022, Stella will understandably get upset over the agents who have been sent to question her about a case of insurance fraud. This is happening because Martin Gray ran his mouth to Drew about Stella being his angel and making adjustments behind the scenes for him. Stella made sure Martin had the insurance he needed, but she made some shady moves in the process and could get in serious trouble as a result. There have been multiple instances of Stella finessing things for Martin, so she may start to panic. After Stella gets grilled in the August 18th episode, Lucas Jones will leap into action and help someone in need on August 19th. It turns out Lucas will fight hard to save the life of somebody he cares about. Stella is a very beloved figure around the hospital, so maybe she's the character Lucas will work to help. It's easy to see Stella collapsing and possibly having another stroke that leaves her life in jeopardy. The stress of this fraud investigation may partly bring it on and leave Stella in a fight to survive. Unfortunately, Lucas will deliver some difficult updates on August 20th, so Stella could be in bad shape if she's indeed the patient here. On August 21st, GH spoilers indicate that Curtis Ashford's fury will be unleashed as he resolves to get payback. Perhaps Curtis will figure out Drew's behind the insurance fraud investigation and blame him for Stella's medical crisis news. Stella may have a long road to recovery ahead of her, so Curtis may hold Drew responsible and plan to do whatever it takes to get revenge. Since there have been some hints about a whodunit brewing for Drew, Curtis could be a major suspect if one plays out. General Hospital spoilers say Curtis and Drew's feud is far from over, so don't miss all the drama that's coming up. General Hospital spoilers tease that Curtis Ashford and Dr. Portia Robinson haven't had an easy time of things in recent months. They've been trying to fend off the blackmail attempts by Drew Cain, who has been trying to force both of them into doing some pretty awful things. But the whole reason they are in this mess to begin with is because of something that Portia did months ago. In hopes of keeping Heather Weber in prison, Portia doctored some of her lab tests that were taken at General Hospital. Through a complicated series of events, Drew came across this information. At first, he was only blackmailing Portia, who kept the whole situation from Curtis as long as she could. But eventually, Curtis figured out that his wife was being blackmailed, and even though he was furious with her for lying, he vowed to keep his family safe from Drew. For now, Curtis believes that he and Drew have entered into a truce. That's allowed to turn his attention back on his marriage. He decided that he doesn't want to end their relationship, but it will take a lot of work. Of course, Portia was thrilled to hear this information, but Isaiah Gannon recently misinterpreted a close moment between Curtis and his ex-wife Jordan Ashford. It seems likely that Isaiah will tell Portia that Curtis is having an affair. For whatever reason, Isaiah has entered a busybody phase, and this time it could cost Portia her marriage. Although nothing romantic is going on between Jordan and Curtis, Portia will likely believe Isaiah if he tells her what he saw. That could easily lead Portia to strike back by doing the exact same thing she believes that her husband is doing. It may not be long before Portia and Isaiah hit the sheets for real. If their marriage wasn't over before, it certainly will be once Portia crosses that line. Should Isaiah tell Portia what he saw? Will Portia sleep with Isaiah? How much longer can Curtis and Portia's marriage last? Anything can happen in Port Charles, so stay tuned to General Hospital airing weekdays on ABC. General Hospital spoilers suggest the undercurrents of vengeance run deep in Port Charles as Drew Quartermain's explosive accusation against Danny Morgan, labeling his innocent pickup of Emily Corinthos as kidnapping, has fans speculating it could be his fatal misstep. Drew's relentless schemes against Michael Corinthos' family, including lying about Michael abandoning Wiley Corinthos, bribing a clinic nurse, and faking drug tests, have already cost Willow Corinthos her kids. Now, with Drew isolating Scout from her Quartermain kin, Jason Morgan might snap. If Drew is tied to Jen Sidwell's mob war, or Professor Henry Hank Dalton's tech plot, possibly holding Britt Westbourne hostage, Jason could end his twin for good. Drew's over-the-top charge of kidnapping against Danny for a harmless family visit has fans exploding with outrage as they dissect his pattern of destruction. His vendetta against Michael's family, rooted in jealousy, has wrecked Willow's life and now targets innocent Danny. Fans see this as Drew's breaking point, especially after his affair with Nina Reeves imploded last month. Jason's loyalty to Danny and Michael runs deep. Will this push him to confront Drew lethally? The stakes rise if Drew's Sidwell alliance or Dalton's scheme links to Britt's captivity, making him a direct threat. Speculation swirls as Drew's possible ties to Sidwell's mob war or Dalton's tech conspiracy, perhaps even Britt's hostage situation, paint him as a villain overdue for reckoning. Fans fear Drew's isolation of Scout from her Quartermaine roots mirrors his manipulative past, and if he's involved in Britt's ordeal, Jason won't hesitate to strike. Drew's attack feels like his final provocation. Will Jason make it his last? Or will a twist spare him? Drew's escalating aggression could seal his fate on General Hospital as Jason's protective instincts surge. If Drew is actually linked to Britt's captivity or Dalton's agenda, fans speculate Jason could eliminate the threat altogether. Does that mean Drew is nearing his end? Will anyone miss him? Although his death could tie things up in a neat little bow for Alexis Davis to wrap her arms around Scout and move her into her home to raise, where will the death of two parents leave Scout? Do you see Jason taking his own brother out? Would he do that to Monica Quartermaine? Stay tuned for more GH news and spoilers to find out. Carlo Rota is enjoying his time on General Hospital as he approaches his first anniversary on the show. The British-born Canadian actor debuted on General Hospital as Jen Sidwell nearly a year ago in September 2024. His character has gone from running a mining complex in Somalia, holding Lucky Spencer and Isaiah Gannon hostage there, to Port Charles, where he is scheming and trying to take over the city. Rhoda, whose credits span from shows like 24 to Jane the Virgin to Scandal, is appreciative of his long stay on the long-running soap opera, as he shared in an interview this week with Entertainment Now. Speaking with Kate Meg Hahn, Rhoda shared a lot of insights about working on General Hospital, which is his first foray into daytime drama. You are watching something that has a pedigree that spans, it's now 63 years, and that's incredible, Rhoda said in the interview. It's also incredible as a new actor on the show to be with people who have been doing it for decades. Decades! I mean, it's a whole new thing for me. I've been a series regular before, but I've never been involved in a show that's been on for this long. Rhoda said he was called back to play Sidwell a year after initially auditioning for a different role on General Hospital. Rhoda was excited to find out that his character would be sticking around, moving to Port Charles and buying Windermere. Sidwell is trying to take down Sonny Corinthos and is involved with Henry Dalton and his mysterious research that Dr. Britt Westbourne is working on in Croatia. He is also negotiating his relationship with his son, Marco, and helping him handle the death of his mother, Natalia. Rhoda said it took him a while to get used to the fast pace of shooting General Hospital, which tapes dozens of pages every day. He said that Jonathan Jackson helped him adjust in the early days. "It's very much like theater," he said. "It's the most theatrical thing I've ever done on television. Also, if you treat it like theater, there's another element of excitement to it. I've learned so much over the last year. I really have, and hope to learn a lot more." Rhoda talked a lot about Sidwell's motivations. He sees his character as more of a gray character who empathizes with the people in his life, even when he's doing things like threatening people or torching buildings. Van Hansies came onto the General Hospital scene as a recast Lucas Jones and made the role his own almost immediately. He had an easy rapport with members of Lucas' family, and our hearts broke for him when he had to declare the time of death for his sister Sam. In that moment, he became our Lucas and has been riding that wave ever since. This week, the no-holds-barred Lucas came out to play and got walloped across the mouth for his efforts, earning him Soap Central accolades for Performer of the Week. When Hans's Lucas sees something he knows is wrong, he wastes no time speaking his mind. Over the last few weeks, he has had angry confrontations with his sister, Carly, as well as her ex-husband, crime boss, Sonny Corinthos. But it's Lucas's forever love for Wiley that drives him in the moments when he doesn't hold back. On Christmas, Lucas had no trouble telling Willow what he thought of her little affair with Drew Kane that broke up her marriage to his nephew, Michael. There seemed to be some unfinished business after that confrontation that might have been finished this week. Hansis might not have been playing Lucas when he had to give Wiley to Michael after learning the adopted son he had been raising belonged to Michael and Nell. Willow was also devastated because she thought Wiley was the son she'd given up for adoption. Lucas was glad to know that Michael and Willow had been raising Wiley with love after Willow married Michael and adopted the boy she thought of as her own. When Lucas invoked that loss with Willow in the General Hospital break room, we could hear the pain in his voice, as if Hansis had acted out those heartbreaking scenes. We also wanted to cheer him on when Lucas accused Willow of caring about herself much more than she did her kids. That's when things got interesting. As Hansis showed us just how angry Lucas was at Willow for not putting Wiley first, Willow showed us just how angry she was at Lucas when she slapped him clear across the face. In that one moment, Hansis took over the scene with a single look. The stunned and horrified expression on his face as he looked at Willow, wondering who this woman now was, said everything. Hansis didn't need to speak. He told us everything Lucas was thinking with his eyes. And what Lucas was thinking was something Willow didn't want to hear. General Hospital and young. And the restless fans are heartbroken after learning that Tristan Rogers has died at the age of 79. I am sad to report the passing of soap great Tristan Rogers, who so famously played Robert Scorpio on General Hospital over a span of 45 years, reporter George Pinocchio posted on social media. His longtime manager, Meryl Sudak, told me he died this morning at the age of 79 after a battle with lung cancer. Rogers' last appearance on GH was July 17th, in which he provided shelter for his daughter, Sasha Gilmore, and his baby granddaughter. Incidentally, it was the same day he announced that he had been diagnosed with cancer. Fans reacted to the sad news on social media. R.I.P. Tristan Rogers. I'm glad we got to see him last, being a dad to Sasha. It was like a goodbye in a way to us subtlety. Bless him. Y'all, I'm really sitting here crying, a viewer posted. I was not ready for this. I will remember his wit and humor the most, another fan said. Condolences to all you knew and loved him. R.I.P. Tristan. Rogers' co-star John Lindstrom also reacted to the news. I know the sadness I feel at this news is shared by so many of you, Lindstrom posted. Tristan Rogers was one of the coolest, funniest people I ever met. Whenever we were together, which wasn't nearly often enough, we never missed a chance to try to crack the other one up. The entire General Hospital family is heartbroken to hear of Tristan Rogers' passing, GH executive producer Frank Valentini said in a statement. Tristan has captivated our fans for more than 50 years, and Port Charles will not be the same without him. Rogers also played Colin Atkinson on Y&R from 2010 to 2012. Plus, he made appearances on digital soaps The Bay and Studio City. Daniel Goddard also paid tribute to Rogers, who played his father on Y&R. You were a trailblazer, doing what no other Australian had done, and after all these years, you were still everybody's mate, Goddard posted on Instagram. From the first scene to the last, I never stopped learning from you. The world is now a little more empty without you in it. The actor is survived by his wife, Teresa Parkerton, their children Sarah and Cale, and their grandchildren. We at the Soap Scoop would like to extend our condolences to Rogers' family and friends. May he rest in peace. The Soap Scoop is your source for General Hospital and Young and the Restless spoilers and news. You won't believe what this week in Port Charles had in store. General Hospital spoilers for August 1822 tease a reunion after a wild week at the Five Poppies. Anna talked Jason into going to find Britt, knowing that Joss could be in danger. Joss and Vaughn checked into the Five Poppies to begin their mission, while the manager threatened Britt to get back to work. Alexis discussed her options about Scout with Molly. Cody admitted to Tracy that he's being paid to seduce Ava, but then called off their date when Tracy talked some sense into him. Drew found Willow at GH and tried talking to her when he got a call that Scout was missing from camp. When Danny took Scout to the Q mansion after visiting her at camp, he called Jason for help. Jason called Alexis, and when Drew showed up with Chase, he demanded Danny be arrested for kidnapping. Emma strategized a new plan with Gio. After Willow got in a fight with Lucas over Drew, she slapped him. As Vaughn got to know Britt, Joss spotted them and recognized the presumed dead woman. While searching for a new home for Outback, Rocco first asked Obrecht, who had to decline after Lulu got her kicked out of the Metro Court. Later, Lulu agreed to take in Outback to get back in Rocco's good graces. Joss got Vaughn away from Britt without being seen and revealed to her handler that Britt is supposed to be dead. Anna demanded updates from Brennan and later told all to Colette, who revealed herself to be a double agent. After everyone talked Drew out of arresting Danny, Drew declared to Alexis that he's taking Scout to DC and she'll never see her family again. Dante tried convincing Brooke Lynn to join him in talking things out with Gio. Stella acted as a confidant to both Trina and Kai as they discussed their relationship woes. When Kai tried talking to Trina, she up and left. Molly discussed Scout with Drew, but he refused to listen to reason. Chase found a distraught Willow in the park and reassured her things would work out. Jason arrived at the Five Poppies, and he and Britt finally spotted each other. After Vaughn tried talking Joss into laying low, he was alone in their room when an assassin arrived and tried to kill him. Joss arrived just in time and pulled the trigger. Jordan moved into her new apartment. Curtis and Portia went on a date and wound up in bed. When Drew spotted Michael and Wiley at the Metro Court restaurant, he sneakily approached Wiley and tried turning him against Michael, leading Michael to throwing a punch at Drew. The action led to Drew arriving at Sonny's to blackmail him, unbeknownst to Drew that ADA Turner was at Sonny's house overhearing it all. Stella was confronted by authorities at GH about the insurance fraud claim. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.